With around 741 views, my Inside Out True Thoughts video has become a modest success, surpassing 500 views. And I think I should keep this ball going. But what other topics that I should talk about next? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, better to be late than never. If you forgot about Garfield, then you must be out of your mind. Sorry for the offensions, but in short, Garfield is one of the most popular comic book characters of all time, and he was created by Jim Davis. But as you're watching this, is still alive to this day. He might be passed away anytime soon, but this cat will dethrone him. And I'm happy to say that Garfield really was a part of my own childhood. This is one of my own guilty pleasures, but one of my favorite Garfield shows is actually not Garfield and Friends, but instead, The Garfield Show. Yeah, back then, I used to watch Garfield back then. In fact, I even watched the movies. Well, not the animated version. Well, let me explain. I even watched the 2004 Garfield movie, and it's still one of my guilty pleasures. It's not good, but again, it's my guilty pleasures. Though, have you ever noticed that it's similar to the plot of Toy Story? Yeah, believe it or not, one of the writers who worked on Toy Story worked on Garfield the movie. Here's proof. The persons who write this is Joe Cullen and Alex Shoko. And before they did this, both of them did the film to Toy Story with Andrew Stanton and Josh Wicca. I cannot pronounce their names. Yeah, since Toy Story and Garfield have the same two writers, it shows that these do share the same qualities. Of course, I even watched Garfield Gets Real. I think I already said that, but if you look at this is the first time where Garfield were firstly full on CGI. Garfield Gets Real does have an interesting concept about comic book characters, how they get made, but since the story was pretty much weak, it really became an underrated film, and for probably good reasons. But let's not talk about the first CGI Garfield movie. Let's talk about the second CGI Garfield movie. And if you're wondering, no, I'm not talking about Funfest and Super Team. I'm talking about the film that is coming out this year, just 24. Oh, and I forgot, Garfield is now owned by Nickelodeon since Jim Davis sold it to Nickelodeon. Take that as you will. Anyways, on to the film. So, what is my overall thoughts on this trailer? I'd say it's pretty good. It's not as Pixar good, but it's something that I'll say I am more than happy to say I would like to see this on a big screen. Chris Pratt will be playing his role as Garfield, where everyone was pretty much fed up of Chris Pratt. Because, well, literally, Chris Pratt played as Emmett from the Lego Movie, Barley from Onward, and Mario in, you guessed it, the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Here, I'm gonna say this actually fits his role perfectly well because somehow Chris Pratt managed to make Garfield feel more lovable and more something I want to say I like it. In fact, from the teaser trailer, he says that quote that is pretty meme-worthy.
I apologize in advance. The eating you're about to see will not be pretty. And if you have young children, this would be a good time for them to leave the room.
Samuel L. Jackson is going to be voicing Garfield's father. And I think this is the fourth time that Samuel L. Jackson is in the animated film. Why do I say the third one? Well, remember The Incredibles and ever heard of Turbo? And let me tell you, as a father, I think I like him. He's pretty wild, like He's pretty wild and more active, and I think he knows what he's doing. I do like the design. Yeah, I really do. Of course, when there's Garfield, there's Odie. And you might be wondering, and for those of you people, why does Odie look like this? Then Garfield, like when you look at Garfield, he does like very well in the comics, but with Odie, how come he looks so awkward looking? Well, I think I find out the reason why. I think the comics is mostly based on the 1980s design, or some bits of with some bits and pieces of the 1970s. So really, the reason why Odie looks so awkward in the Garfield movie because it's based on the 1980s design. Though I might give it a pass. And I did forget to mention about the animation though. The one thing I will say about the Garfield movie is that the animation is pretty spot on. Like, I like how the characters are always bouncy. This is because it's animated by Sony Pictures Animations, even though Garfield is now owned by Paramount. There is a good chance that Garfield might go that after the Garfield movie has been released in theaters, it might be exclusive to Paramount for now on, but it really depends on where this film will go. Again, I do like the animation, looks pretty cartoony, and it actually stays true to design, which, like I said, it's based on a 1980s design instead of 1990 designs and onward. But really, I can see where they're going with this, and the hair designs on the human, even though they're not based on the Garfield designs from Garfield Gets Real or the Garfield show, they're still good on their own. And I do believe that it is that good. Though I am hoping that the Garfield movie become a moderate success. Here's what I mean. Why do I mention why Garfield should be a moderate success? Well, here's the thing. In case you haven't noticed, there's a lot of films that feature dogs as main characters, like Bolt here, for example. But sometimes it can be either go too much. Like, yeah, I like Bolt, and I do like it, but it does feature a dog. I don't mind that, but it's not one of those films that I say I would rewatch. Well, I would, but look, here's what I mean. For every dog film that I see, they always feature dogs as main characters, and I get it. It's man's best friends, and you have to do that. But what about films about cats? What about them? Why don't I see more films that feature cats as main characters or more dogs? Again, man's best friends, but still though, I want more diversity. I might go to bad thing territory, but it's like showing you have a lot of Caucasian people, but you have a few African Americans in there. Again, sorry for the bad stuff, but it has to be expressed. But you know which film that put me on the tipping point where I want more films that feature cats as the main characters? It's this film right here. This film is a tipping point where I say, alright, enough is enough. I do not want to watch this film ever. And I might be thinking, it's a kid's film. But to that I say, don't you think this film is ruining the animation industry? Like, why? Why is this an animated film? Wouldn't it be more better if this became a live action film? If this became a live action film, this would have no effect on the animation industry. But no, it has to be an animated film. Like, why? You're making animation looks like a genre for kids. Like, seriously? And to top it all off, they stars puppies as the good guys. I know Odie is with Garfield from that film, but the point is that maybe we should have more films that the roles are reversed. Like in this film, the puppies are the good guys. Well, for the bad guys, take a wild guess. The mayor with some cats, and they are the bad guys. If you haven't guessed, I'm a cat person, and I love cats, and I want to see more films that feature cats as the good guys. But this is a perfect example why enough is enough. I want cats as a good guys and dogs as the bad guys. Just add this role reversal in a way. And besides, if I join the animation industry, I might be able to make that into reality. Cat as a good guy and dog as a bad guy. But this, I have no idea why this is acceptable. It is not. Why wasn't this film really stretches streaming? I really am hoping that the Garfield movie became a success in theaters. I want to see Garfield succeed. I like him. He was a part of my own childhood. In fact, if you saw that Garfield internet video, you can see that Garfield will always be a part of the childhood. No matter that you like it or not, or you want it or not. I want to see Garfield succeed. I like this cat, and I really hope that this cat will finally end the dog as a hero film genre once and for all. Sure, there's Puss in Boots, but come on now! That film is memorable, but does anyone still remember it to this day? No, seriously. Does any of you still remember it to this day? Sure, the main antagonist of Garfield the movie is a cat, but come on now! At least Garfield is a cat, and at least he's the main character and the hero of the film. And I haven't talked about the story. Well, I bet it might be a typical father and son story. This may not sound interesting, but if Garfield can make it work, they can make it work. And I really am looking forward about this. I really am looking forward for the new Garfield movie. And that's all I have to say about this. If you like this video, why not consider subscribing to my channel? This will really help me a lot. And if this does well like the last one, maybe I might do another one. But for right now, that's all I have to say, and I'll see you next time.